Welcome back. You're watching Editors Roundtable, and we had a phenomenal week for the market with the index hitting all-time high, and of course the mid caps. They have been hitting new high for 15 days in a row. We are in conversation with Nilesh Shah. Nilesh, the other big talking point this week was the consolidation in the cement space, and it's been phenomenal space where people have made a lot of money, large cap, mid cap, small cap. What's your view? And after the consolidation, what would be the pecking order for you?
I think it's a sector which is likely to continue to do well. The outlook, I think, is very strong. Volume growth continues to be very strong. The construction activity, build-up of infrastructure, the fact that home sales are at a record high, all of this bodes well for the cement sector. And on top of that, crude is down. Keep in mind that in cement, the volume growth will at best be high single digit. The game changer out there is essentially going to be margin expansion. And that is totally contingent on where crude oil prices are. If crude is down, cement margins are high. If crude is up, cement margins will be low. Right now, crude is down, cement margins have to expand. And therefore, it's going to be a good place. Just that you have to take a call for how long crude oil prices will remain low. But it seems to be a good place to be in.
Nilesh, the leadership seems to be in the PSUs. It's clearly demonstrated now. Every week, every month, the PSU index is at a new all-time high. Newer companies are hitting new all-time highs. What's been your take on the PSUs? Is there anything which excites you in terms of valuations or in terms of opportunity? We saw some, uptake in the OMCs as well of late. Generally, in the PSUs, what's your pecking order?
So I think, especially in terms of OMCs, again, it's a function of the lower crude oil prices. So prices of crude oil, HP, BP are bound to do well. But otherwise, I still think the place to be is railways and defense.
Okay.
That's going to be really the space which will continue to outperform. That's going to be the thrust of the government. It's going to be the thrust of post even May 24. I don't see that changing at all.
Okay.
And therefore, the growth momentum will continue to be extremely strong, both in railways and defense. In defense, especially what we are seeing is that increasingly the government wants to keep indigenizing, procuring from local sources.
Right.
And that provides a huge tailwind. I mean, the pie for all the railway companies just keeps expanding. And for all the defense companies, it just keeps expanding. So I still think that these are two sectors which have been at the forefront, and I don't see that changing.
Okay.
Okay, well, I don't think we have too much time left. I'm not sure. I think maybe about a couple of minutes. So the most common question we get asked is, when the market is at a record high, what do you do, right? Do you book your profits? Do you buy afresh? Do you stay cautious? What's your recommendation?
I don't think you should book your profits because the markets are high, but they could go higher. So I don't think that should be the case. I think one should continue to kind of have the faith that, yes, the economy will continue to grow at about 7% and 12% in nominal terms. If that happens, earnings will grow at about 15%, and that's a good place to be. And that's something on which the visibility is very high for the medium term. So I still think that, and it's not that the valuations are totally out of whack. Yes, there are a few sectors in mid-cap, small-cap, or a few stocks where the valuations have gone out of whack, but it may not yet reflect how aggregate valuations are. Especially like we were talking earlier on, that the large cap space, the valuations look really attractive at this space. And they're still growing north of 15%. So that should be a good place to be. So I think on the whole, stay invested. I don't believe this is yet the time to book profits. We can have some knee-jerk reaction because of which maybe markets can correct 5-10%. But that's something we should be willing to live with, that volatility.
Okay, I just, we're talking about equity markets, but one asset class which really shone was gold. It hit a 6-month high this week. How would you suggest or how would you recommend to play that entire gold piece? Would it be through equities? Would it be through an ETF? Would it be through, just buying physical gold?
I'd still think it should be equities because equities always have the multiplier effect. If gold prices do well, generally companies exposed to the gold sector have inventory gains that gets reflected in earnings, and that again you assign a higher multiple and the stock prices end up higher. Whether you agree with it from a fundamental point of view, that's a different thing. But that's how it is. So I think if you're bullish on gold, just go and find the set of companies which will do well with rising gold prices. And I think that's the best way to play it.
Okay, guys, it's the weekend, and I think there's there's Animal releasing this weekend, right? Anyone going for it? Planning to go?
I'm going for Sam Bahadur actually because and I think
you're a Vicky Kaushal fan.
No, I think I'm a Sam Manekshaw fan. Okay. I think let's put it that way. Let's the greatest soldier in Indian history. And I think I know Animal will grab all the headlines, but I won't be surprised if 1 week down the line it's Sam Bahadur which starts to sneak in That's my view. But you are watching Animal, right?
I'm going for Animal tonight.
I used to be a Ranbir Kapoor fan during his days when he used to do those films like Wake Up Sid and
Yeah.
all of those kind of
Yes.
Barfi, which was
Yes.
amazing. Lately, I don't know. I mean,
Look,
I
everyone has
haven't watched
realized that you want
something
to,
that's
you
great.
know, if you have to be the star, then you have to do these films. You know,
Yeah.
the Jawans, the
Brahmastras.
Pathans, the Brahmastra and the Animals. You have to do this because otherwise you lose your star value. You know,
Yeah.
you might get status of a good actor, but what good is that if you're not a star? I think that's
Absolutely.
something which people have read.
Okay, so we have two sets of audiences, one that's going for Sam Bahadur and one that's going for Animal. So let's see which one does well. With that, it's curtains down on Editor's Roundtable. You guys have a great weekend. See you again on Monday.